All for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, Aston Villa fans. Welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. Do you know what, Paddy? A great For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast to be able to do, because it is only something I wish I just led the tweet in front of me, but I just X'd out of it a second ago. I think it's only the 5th time we've ever been in the European competition quarter final, if I'm not mistaken. And I could very well be, because I was flicking through Twitter there, and I think Justin from Up the Villa had it up. And it's only the 5th European quarterfinal we've ever been in. And it's great to be able to talk about it, considering where we were in October of 2022, just as Unai Emery took over the team.
Yeah, would I be correct in saying, was the last one, Moscow wasn't a quarterfinal? Sure, it wasn't. It was the round before, I think.
I think it was. I'm actually just going to try and bring up the tweet there again.
Neil just put it into the chat there, the dates. So I was actually at the last one in 1998.
And there you go, 98. Yeah,
if memory serves me correct, it was St. Patrick's Day 1998, where we played Real Atletico Madrid in Villa Park when we eventually went out of that tournament. I could be wrong, but I reckon I've got that on the money.
Yeah, well, Farrell's popped in there as well with St. Patrick's Day as well here for that one. So big day for you over there on your birthday. Well, not your birthday is St. Patrick's Day, but it's in and around then, hence the name. And as far as I'm aware, there's no St. Neil's Day in April. So I just drew the short straw of having a Neil Diamond fan as a father. That's where my one came from. But yeah, the fifth European quarterfinal Aston Villa have ever been in. 1981-82. Obviously, I'm looking at them here against Kiev. Went on to win the competition, and were beaten by Juventus in 82-83, and we're also knocked out by Barcelona in 77-78 as well. So to be beaten by Atletico Madrid, Juventus and Barcelona ain't half bad. They're big teams to come up against, and hopefully we can get over Lille and get into a semi-final again. And it's going to start for tomorrow is the day when we can do that. And just it's kind of serendipitous in a small way, Paddy, because Atletico Madrid playing against Dortmund at the moment, and all eyes are on that. And let's talk a small bit about that, because I'm just going to check the score to make sure that they haven't equalized. But it was 2-1 when we were coming here, when we were just popping in here for this, and it's still 2-1, and Barcelona beating PSG. And I suppose the reason that I mentioned the Barcelona and PSG one is that France aren't a million miles away, and if PSG were to go on to win the Champions League and all the English teams were to get knocked out before the semi-final stage of the competitions that they're currently in, France could leapfrog England in that instance there. So even Dortmund losing this game tonight and PSG losing this game tonight, it still won't add on points onto them from a coefficient point of view. So it's important for teams to win both legs to help us out, do us a bit of a solid and dig us out from that point of view. So that's good.
After we got no help last night. Just a question for you, Neil. How old were you in 1998?
1998, I was, for St. Patrick's Day, I was 12.
You were 12?
Yeah, I would have been 13. Would have been 13 a month later. Yeah.
There you go.
So that's it. Look, hey, I know when people look at my beard now, they go, that guy was never 12, with all the greys in his beard. So
you had that beard when you were 12, I'd say.
I had a schmig when I was 13. So yeah. So that is the truth. Anyway, less of my facial hair are more of Aston Villa versus Lille coming up tomorrow, and again I'm really excited about. And look, I just for transparency point of view, the reason I didn't pop on the post match at the weekend was I actually couldn't get to watch the game. The Wi-Fi was so poor where I was, but I got a radio. I got an audio stream of the last 15 minutes, and it just kicked in after Vissa scored the third goal. Was it Vissa that got the third goal? I think it was, and then I was able to listen up to where Watkins scored the equalizer. So that's all I had. So obviously I've watched it back since. And yeah, I think less said about that, the better. You know, a 3-3 draw keeps us plugging forward, I suppose, if you want to be optimistic with regards to that. But you know, obviously it brought Spurs right back into it and puts them in the driving seat with their game in hand. But the reason that I bring that up is because obviously we're talking about the coefficient in 5th place, so it is relevant, I suppose, to talk about the just for me, just to mention that about the game at the weekend and where Spurs are now, because I think it's important for us to win this game as well, because when we talk about coefficients, we're very much in control of the coefficient as well. Beat Lille tomorrow 1-0 and then beat Lille 1-0 in France as well, and you know, we could be the masters of our own destiny from that point of view. You know, wrapping up that 5th place, being in a Champions League position for England as well, Paddy.
Well, we don't get the same amount of points, unfortunately, as the Champions League do. So the coefficient doesn't get the same amount of points for the Conference League as it does for Champions League. So we need them guys to do us a solid. Didn't happen last night. It's kind of happening tonight. Hope it stays that way. Look, I will be disappointed if it's only 1-0 tomorrow night, because that's going to give us a heck of a job to go and defend that in Lille, which is going to be a tough place to go. So let's hope it's a bit more than 1-0 tomorrow night when we're sitting down to talk afterwards. I think I might have to have a beer during this game, because I am going to be rattled. This is huge. This is huge for us.
Massive.
And as you harked back that 18 months, we go back to 5 years when we're nearly gone out of business, and yet here we are. And well, it's 6 years now, I suppose. But and here we are, 5 years into a program which they told us at 5 years we're nearly there to where they said we'd be, which is amazing stuff. But there's still that fear in the back of my mind that something is going to go belly up on us. And you know, I'm sorry if I was down in the dumps on Saturday when people were listening to me, but that's just the way I am. That's just the way I handle things. That's, you know, it really hurts and really gets me down when we throw things away. So you can imagine how I'm going to be for the last 15 years of being a Villa fan. So it kind of feels that we're limping over the line a little bit from my point of view, and I would like it to be done a little bit quicker so we can enjoy this European run a bit better and not have to worry about who's waiting on the long grass on the Sunday. So get the job done tomorrow night, get enough goals on the board. That's the way I think Unai Emery will be approaching this, albeit I would imagine there will be a couple of changes. We might see a Kane Kessler-Hayden in there. You know, just a curveball. I reckon there might be an opportunity just to rest one or two. I'm not expecting wholesale changes. I'm not expecting Duran in for Watkins. I'm expecting this to be the one where we go for it, but there will be a couple of changes, I would imagine.
I agree as well. I agree, because like Lille are no pushovers, obviously 4th in Ligue 1 at the moment. They have 49 points. They're in 4th place. Like they're miles off Paris Saint-Germain, but to be honest with you, everybody is miles off Paris Saint-Germain. Like Paris Saint-Germain at the top of the league, 63 points. Then Brest. Yes, Brest are 53. The team that Newcastle signed David Ginola from, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe Ginola made his debut, I can't remember where it is, but yeah. Look, going back to when I was a 12, 13-year-old kid in 1997, 1998, that was an amazing fact to be able to pull out of your back pocket back then as well, believe me. And I always got a laugh. Monaco then in 3rd place.
Use that word, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Monaco then in 3rd place at 52 points as well. But the one thing I wanted to say, Paddy, is, and you're right in what you say, I just picked 1-0 and 1-0, but you're right that tomorrow night's a big one, because if you look at the home and away forms in Ligue 1, Lille are top of the pile on home form. You know, they've 33 of their 49 points accumulated at home, which is 10 wins, 3 draws, and a loss, and they've only conceded 8 goals at home, which is by far and away better than any I was going to say by far and away, but it's the best record, home defensive record in Ligue 1 at the moment, second to Nice and Marseille at the minute. But Paddy, here's the silver lining. their away form has been pretty shocking. They've only won 3 away games all year, drawn 7, lost 4, and they've conceded 17 goals away from home and only got their 6 points. So tomorrow is massive. And Aston Villa's form being absolutely really good at home this season, and Lille's form not being so great away from home. We do need to stick the knife in tomorrow, if you'll excuse the horrible pun.
Yeah, I'll talk about it more next week. But I was in the Lille stadium, and it is an amphitheater. It has a roof. It's like I know the night I was in there now was the last game of a group stage of a European Championships, and we were playing Italy and needed to win, and it just happened to be one of the greatest atmospheres I ever experienced. But with that roof closed, if they need to, they will make it absolutely raucous for us next week. But for now, we've just got to do the job tomorrow night and get a couple of goals on the board, and that's how I see tomorrow night. Finishing up, I think that's how it has to be, and I think this is our priority now. We've a free hit obviously on Sunday, but if we get this out of the way, and when I say out of the way, if we got 2 or 3 tomorrow night, and I'm not by any means saying we're going to score 2 or 3, I just think it would be absolutely huge in the context of our season that we can go and do the same job as we did on Ajax then next week and just bore them out of it for 90 minutes. And then move on to that huge cup final against Bournemouth on the Sunday. So that's just a week in a nutshell of how I see it going about. So it's not going to be easy. We need to really, really lay down a marker tomorrow night, and hopefully we've got, like we saw Unai Emery brought out Pau Torres to be interviewed today as well. So they actually speak very alike, don't they? And say all the same things, which is quite funny. But look, it's great to be in this position. It really is. And you lose sight of that after potentially throwing away 2 points, which we did at the weekend. You lose sight of the bigger picture and you get down on it very, very quickly. And it's just that old worry just rearing its head again. That are we going to go back down this rabbit hole of throwing things away? And is this peak Villa coming back? And we've just got to get back to where we were before and around that period that we beat Man City and beat Arsenal, because we've been flaky at home since then. We haven't put back-to-back wins together at home since then. So something needs to change, and I'm hoping that starts tomorrow night. And like, what do the players need to be up for if they can't get up for a quarterfinal of European competition?
Yeah, and I think there will be. One of the big things I think to bear in mind in this game tomorrow as well is Lille won't have played, like Lille played on Friday the 5th of April. Now I know we played on Saturday the 6th, so there isn't a huge piece there. But Lille don't have any game this weekend either. So, if Unai Emery has got one eye on Arsenal, which to be honest with you, I'm going to call it now, expect a rotated team, I would say, against Arsenal potentially. But Lille beat Marseille 3-1. Now, once again, Lille's brilliant home form. They were at home. Jonathan David, everybody knows I've got a penchant for him. I would have loved him at Aston Villa. I still think he's an absolutely brilliant foil for Ollie Watkins, somebody to come in there and can play on the left, on the right. He can play up top as well and will give great fluidity there. He is their talisman up top as well. But also alongside him, the likes of Remy Cabella and oh Jesus, the other guy's name is just after escaping me. He'll come to me in a moment. Their front three are really, really solid. Doesn't look like Angel Gomez is going to be playing in midfield. Looks like, but he has travelled to Birmingham today. The former Manchester United starlet who's now with Lille, and all together they're just a really, really solid outfit. Lille, they really are, and they're a team that will they're kind of like Villa as well. Like there's some other parts in an awful lot of ways, and it's going to be one of those ones that we're definitely going to. Jegova, that's the other guy I was thinking of. Real tricky customer there as well. So our fullbacks are going to be busy tomorrow, and they're not going to be able to pin their ears back and go up and down the lines. They certainly won't be able to do that. I think one of the things in our favour is having Douglas Luiz there will mean he can go balls to the wall tomorrow night and Thursday night afterwards, with him missing Arsenal and Bournemouth now. He's going to be able to really focus in on European competition. Ideally, I'd prefer to have him there for Bournemouth than to have him there for either of these two European games. Not that I don't want to win these, but I just think Bournemouth is so pivotal. But we will have him there, and he's going to be someone who's going to be super, super pivotal, I think, for us over the next couple of days as well. Yeah, and someone else I'm looking forward to seeing on the LILLE side is they've got a really young defender. He's only 18 years of age, Yoro, tipped to be the next best thing, like tipped to be the next Lillian Thuram in French football. So hopefully Ollie Watkins can put him on his arse a couple of times and introduce him to a good old British style football when he comes to Villa Park tomorrow night as well.
Yeah, and they beat Storm Graz with him playing at centre half and a 16-year-old playing at a holding midfielder. So
yeah,
there's a lot of faith in those and a lot of youth in the team. Benjamin Andre is the said defensive central midfielder alongside him. He's about
along with Nabil Bentaleb. Nabil, lest we forget, former Spurs great.
He's injured though.
He played at the weekend. Anyway. Yeah.
And Ismaili is the left back. He's about 32 or 33 as well. And it's the two of them that make up the that's the extent of the older players they have on their team. Everyone else is probably under 25. They actually when I watched a bit of that game on Friday night, and they're actually quite similar set up to the way we set up. So it could be very like for like tomorrow night, or he could decide to tuck in and play defensively against us, being away from home. So and remember, they've got what's his name, Fonseca, the manager.
Yeah, linked to Aston Villa.
It was once linked with Aston Villa, yeah. So he'll be looking forward to his trip to B6 tomorrow night as well, and because he has aspirations of being on a bigger stage than Ligue 1. So let's see what he has to do.
Yeah, it's going to be a cracker of a game. Like you see all the games that are on tomorrow. You've got Liverpool and Atalanta, you've got Leverkusen and West Ham, and then you've got Lille and Aston Villa, and you know, I think it's probably fair to say the most evenly matched two teams, and the teams that could serve up the best game of football are Aston Villa and Lille at the moment. You know, of those teams, I expect Liverpool to beat Atalanta, and unfortunately, I expect Leverkusen to beat West Ham. You know, West Ham would do us an awful favour tomorrow if they were to get a draw out in Leverkusen and then bring it back to London. That would be a massive favour in the coefficient for us, but we'll see what happens. But as I say, we are the masters of our own destiny, and a win tomorrow would be absolutely huge for us, for coefficient FC and Aston Villa FC, you know, as the weeks progress. And I think we can get that win, you know, not under lights. Aston Villa, it just always feels right, and I don't know. I'm sure Stato will have some statistics about how many times we've lost, and we've lost 75% of the games we've ever played under lights at Villa Park or something like that. But to me, it always feels like, you know, there's games I can remember when we've played under lights at Villa Park. They always just stick out in my mind as being games when Villa clicked and Villa played well, and I'm hoping that tomorrow night is another one of those games, and that we that every one of you guys that are going to it get to cherish it. And if you're going with your family members, if you're going with your kids, whatever, if you're just going with the lads and you're going finishing up work and you're going hitting a boozer and then tipping on to the match afterwards, I hope it's a game that we all have to remember, because as I say, European quarterfinals don't come around B6 very often. As we said, there's only been 4 of them, and probably a lot of those ones that we had previously, if I'm right in saying, I'd say nearly all of them, bar the Atletico and the Atletico Madrid one, weren't 2-legged affairs, maybe. So there you go.
Yeah,
it's they might never have come round. So it's not often we get European football in the knockout stages in B6. So definitely one to be cherished for sure.
Yeah, and it's sold out. It's gonna be noisy, and we're gonna need to bring the noise and be the 12th man for sure. I know that's a cliche, but as you say, under the lights, most of my best memories of Villa Park are under the lights. You look at those ones, the Inter Milans, even that Atletico Madrid, even though we're ultimately knocked out, was a marvellous night. Tranmere, all of those amazing ones. Blackburn, what was that, 6-3 or whatever it was in the end?
By Guzan.
Yeah. Nuts stuff. And it always brings the magic of Villa Park. It just always feels that way. So fingers crossed we can bring another night like that tomorrow night, because it's long overdue.
Absolutely, for sure. I think you mentioned about rotation, potential rotation, that I blanked in the Aston Villa manager's name. I've got a bit of a cold at the moment. I don't know why I know he said Leon Osman. Why did that name pop into my head? Obviously, I was looking at something here and his face popped up on the screen. Unai Emery, I don't think he'll rotate that much. I think we're going to see Emi Martinez in goals. I think we're going to see Konza right back. I think we're going to see Carlos and Pau Torres with Dina at left back. I think it's going to be McGinnon and Douglas Luiz in there. I think it's going to be Bailey on the right, and it's going to be Morgan Rogers on the left with probably Diaby playing off Watkins up top, or some permutation that way. I don't see a hell of changes tomorrow. Because I think he understands. I think he knows that Arsenal is another one of those. Again, we had said free hits, and all people are going to be screaming at the screen, going, "Neil, we can't afford to be changing, and giving up games in the Premier League." But I'm not saying that we're going to do that, but we also can't afford to have a 0-0 draw at Villa Park, and then hope that we can turn over a Lille team that are really, really strong at home as well if we want to progress within Europe. So I think Unai knows what side his bread is buttered on, and he'll take this game first, and then worry about the Arsenal game afterwards. So I'm expecting to see a full strength team tomorrow. Full strength.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I think there might be the one or two bolters there, but the Kane Kessler Hayden one is the one that sticks out for me, just because of the poor game that Ezri Konsa, and look, Merlot called them out when they're poor, the same way we big them up when they're good. It was probably his worst game in an Aston Villa shirt in a very, very long time. So we all want to see Matty Cash back, and by all accounts, he could be back for that Bournemouth game. Maybe the away game for Lille could be a bit too soon. But the priority just needs to be that we look after our own game tomorrow. I think there is a case where we could finish outside the top. Well, we could end up 7th. So winning this, mathematically, we could finish 7th. Not that I think we're going to. We could. And winning this,
we could actually finish 8th mathematically, I think, but
could we?
We're not going to finish Shane Lord in 5th. I'm saying that no, we're not. So.
Yeah. Well, you've said that all along. To be fair,
yeah. And I've always said that we're going to get into the Champions League through 5th. That's always been my That's.
Well, I do believe that that's going to be the case, that we're going to finish 5th, whether that's Champions League or not remains to be seen, and that's kind of out of our hands. But for now, we just got to look after our own ship, and that means getting the right result tomorrow night, and then into Sunday. I still say it's a free hit. I'm a little bit broken from what happened against Manchester City, and Douglas Luiz picking up that second yellow, and the late yellow, I should say, his 10th yellow, isn't it?
Yep.
So all of these things are just.
And the funny thing is, Paddy, if he had picked up that yellow and told the ref to go fuck himself and got a second yellow, he would have only missed one game.
He wouldn't need to miss 3, wouldn't he?
No, because he would have got 2 yellows.
Yeah, but that would have been double jeopardy. He would have got.
There was a thing about Bruno Guimaraes today that he was on the same situation with as Douglas Luiz. He didn't pick up a yellow card, but if he had picked up 2 yellow cards in that game, he would have only missed 1 game, because it would have been considered a red card, and he would have missed 1 game. It was I can't remember who had the write up on it. I think it might have been Newcastle Chronicle or whoever it was today. But I read it and I was like, that's bonkers.
That sounds like a rule that was made up for Man United to protect them. As Oak said, you're correct. So I've no reason to believe you're not correct, but that just sounds
I'm doubting myself.
Sounds like prime Premier League and the ridiculous bloody rules that they have in place.
Well,
anyway,
I suppose the red card trumps the yellow in the game. I think is the way it goes. Yeah. Mad. Anyway. Yeah. Look, maybe we've got to be a bit more ruthless with the rules if there is a situation like that. Maybe if Douglas knew that.
Yeah. Well, as I said to you off camera recently, I wished he'd left him out of considering the ones he did rest against Manchester City. I wish he was one of them, and then we would have been guaranteed. Yeah. He could have went for a bald headed at the weekend. But look, that's if my auntie had balls, she'd be my uncle kind of territory we're in there, and there's nothing we could do about it now. So we've just got to play the cards that we have. And hope that we can get at least Matty Cash back into the equation. Clement Longley sounds like it's only a couple of days, But how many times have we said that with Villa injuries over the last year? And look, isn't it great that we have a squad now capable of competing at this level after all of the injuries that picked up? Not that the media will ever let you know that we're absolutely haunted by injuries. So it's our job to look after our own ship and get us over the line. Get the 5th place. I just can't believe we'll get 4th. I think it'll take a major capitulation from Spurs, but you never know.
We'll know in that week of hell that Spurs have. That week, like that, Spurs have a really tough week coming up. We beat Bournemouth, and let's just say we'll play the game of fantasy here. Let's just say we beat Chelsea and Bournemouth, and Spurs have to play that mad week that they have. Yes, we lose to Arsenal. We still also have Liverpool left to play as well. And then we finish up with Crystal Palace and Brighton and Crystal Palace. Brighton might have nothing to play for. De Zerbi might even have been named manager of another team by then. Crystal Palace are literally just
on the beach.
a team of ghosts at the moment. Yeah. Look, but they also have to play the other teams as well. So I'm not saying that we beat them and then they're going to take points off the other teams. They will obviously play to the end of the season. But yeah, so like it's unlikely. Put it this way: Spurs are 100% in the driving seat to get 4th place, and I would expect them to go and get 4th place from here. Judging by their squad depth and everything like that is crazy in comparison to ours. In fact, you can take off Timo Werner and bring on Kulusevski, or you can take off, you can bring on Richarlison as a striker. You can bring on Pierre-Emile Højbjerg in the middle of midfield. Like we bring on young Tim, they bring on Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Their strength of squad is much better, and they've got a fit squad at the moment. Not like they've got a lot of their players back, like Mickey Van de Ven pinging them in from the back from however many yards that was the weekend as well. So look, it's not all said and done though with regards to that, and their big week of hell will tell. Will tell over the coming weeks, but as I say, concentrating tomorrow, get the coefficient up, win, and yeah, Paddy, if you want to take that before we go about the Liverpool game being played on the Monday night.
It's gut-wrenching for everybody, really, because it messes up a lot of people's plans. I'll just tell you a little story. Our friend Spud, who was on the podcast on Saturday, Spud is traveling from Australia for that game. Spud's flight home is 3:00 on Monday afternoon. Would you believe it?
Are you kidding me?
How unlucky. The only possible
and
fixture.
He's the fella who travelled and the game was called off during COVID. First game was called off.
Yeah. So that's the second trip from Australia to watch Aston Villa. So he's got to try and change his flight now or whatever. But my heart was broken for him today when I saw it, because obviously he was in bed when the news broke and he messaged me there when he got up to go to work. I was like, I just feel so bad for him. But look,
feel awful, yeah.
Yeah, we think we have it bad here just traveling from Ireland, and our good friend Noel Connaughton had the whole weekend planned and he's had to add an extra night, and that's just the way it is. It's bloody tough, like bloody tough for people who are traveling, and to do it this late in the day. They really don't. They really don't give a shit. Like it's just all about the team, all about the money. To
have your the final home game of the season on a Monday, when it's to do with the team you're playing. Yeah, look, it's to me, it's just like it's. And look, they probably think that Liverpool might win the league that night at Villa Park. And they may very well win the league at Villa Park. Yeah, they may very well do that. But Sunday evening 4:00 would have been just like it would have been doable for a lot of people. But Monday at 8 is
and look, they could have done it Sunday night. Look what they did at Spurs at the weekend because of the tube strike. They moved it to 6:30 on a Sunday. Just last home game of the season to do that. It's just poor bloody form. Yeah. But anyway. Yeah. That's the story of heartache from poor Mark. There's a travel from Australia, so my heart goes out to him.
Yeah,
not sure I should have told that story live on air, but I've told it now. Hopefully he'll get some good news when he speaks to the airline. See if he can.
And hopefully he wasn't planning on telling his employer he was sick on the Tuesday, because if he is, he might be screwed now altogether. Yeah. Paddy, did you start? I can't see an awful lot of the comments anymore. Did you start a couple of comments? My potato powered internet is still in place waiting for electrician to come back and sort it.
Michael Huggins said, everybody, if you're free on the 19th, it would be great to meet you at the live event.
Absolutely.
So Michael is coming along to our live event, and he's actually going to say a few words at our live event. So that's something to look forward to. If you've never met Michael, I've never met him. You've never met him. He's been a mainstay of our podcast from as long as I can remember. Yeah. So it'll be great to meet him and great to have a chat with him on the 19th in the Aston Inn. I'll update people over the next couple of days. We do potentially have a guest confirmed. This
is news to me, so
yeah, it's hanging in the balance. We're doing our best. Obviously, just to remind people that Chris Nicholl's funeral is on that day, so a lot of the people we had provisionally booked to come to this event are now going to the funeral, and that's there's nothing we can do about that. That's just really unfortunate.
Literally, like, you know, it's been, I think it's upwards of about 7 people. Like, some people confirmed and then came back and said, actually, you know what, I forgot, I have to go to the funeral. So look, and we completely understand that. We're not giving up. We 100% understand, you know, and the show will go on. Like, but you know, it's always nice to have a guest there. We've had 2 very successful events before, and we don't want to, you know, and we'll continue.
Here's somebody else who's going to be there on the night as well. Chad from the Villa Forever podcast is coming along. I hope that's still the case. You told me he was coming.
He is. Yeah, he absolutely is. Yeah, for sure. He is coming. There's a couple more people coming as well. Yeah. From podcasting world. So it's going to be good fun. Yeah. And I hope
regardless of what happens, we're going to have a great night. We're going to have plenty of points. We're going to have a free for all. We're not going to even put the cameras on, I don't think.
No,
so we can be as free and easy as we want with our words, and we might even do a Q&A and let everybody ask what they want to ask that they can't ask when we're on air.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it now. It's going to be 3 good days in Birmingham. We'll be around the Saturday as well. If people can't make it on the Friday night, you could see us shiver in the corner of a pub somewhere on the Saturday if you want. And by the way, if you have a degree in counselling, I will need that because I get fierce down the next day after fight. So please, bring along somebody.
Not to forget our good friend Mark
Wood.
Yeah. He'll be looking after all our musical needs and our microphones and everything else on the night. So
absolutely,
this could be an epic one. And if you're not there, you might never hear it. So
because it won't be recorded. Anyway. Yeah, tickets are still on sale. Yapsody.com, YAPSODY.com, and then just type in For the Love of Paul McGrath. It's the beauty about having such a unique name for a podcast, and you'll see them there. And I'd say, to be honest with you guys, if you can't get to, if you're not somebody who likes to buy tickets, I'm sure you'll be able to pay in the door as well if you need to.
Yeah, we picked this venue because there's plenty of space, and we wanted to give something back to the Aston Inn, who have been great to us over the years, and Karen and her team there are fantastic. So we'll have a great night and a great weekend. And if you can't make the Friday, shoot us a message. We'll tell you where we'll be on the Saturday, because it's a long weekend to put down.
Paddy, there's one. Gaz is saying, could we not move it to Birmingham's new 150,000 seater stadium? I think so. I think it might be the only time it might sell out too.
Fair enough.
Oh wait, you said 150,000. Oh no, well, yeah, that'd be too small. Right, I think we're going to leave it on that, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We'll be back with a team sheet tantrum tomorrow. It'll be a bit earlier, I think, about 6:45. Usually the UEFA games, they announce their teams 15 an hour and 15 beforehand. So we'll see it for that, and then we'll see it for a post-match as well. To be honest with you, I don't know when we're going to be able to squeeze in a preview for the Arsenal game at the weekend. Saturday, I'm at a wedding. My social life has just exploded recently. I told my better half, I said, I've got 3 weekends in April where you probably won't see me, you know. So so there's there is that to contend with too. These things happen. Yeah, life gets in the way of other things in life sometimes, isn't that what it is? So
yeah.
But yeah, so we'll try and fit in a preview at some stage, and yeah, as I said, but the big thing is to get over tomorrow, and hopefully Aston Villa come out of it with a win. But we will see you at 6:45 tomorrow for Team Sheet Tantrum for Aston Villa versus Lille. Hope you join us then, and in the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.